All right, welcome to the Ask Dr. Collins show, and we're going to be streaming on Instagram Live, and then you're probably going to see this on Facebook. But if you guys have any questions, this is the forum to ask them on Instagram Live. And if you guys are watching on Facebook and you guys have questions, go ahead and DM us on Facebook or Instagram. But the goal of this whole thing is to create a platform. People who have questions for doctors, but they're on WebMD or whatever, and you want to just talk to a real person and get your questions answered about your health. Or if you have questions about Atlas Care and the spine or chiropractic in general, this is the time to ask those questions. So we've got some already DMs that have come through since last week. We're going to be doing this every Thursday, so let's go ahead and start asking some questions.
Okay, I have a couple actually from @chiropractic photos. They wanted to know, one, the name of your technique.
Advanced orthogonal, it's an upper cervical specific technique. Whenever you hear upper cervical specific, it's the top of the neck. So think of the skull, the atlas, and then C2. That region is responsible for a lot of different things, but an upper cervical specific doctor, a lot of chiropractors will say they adjust the atlas, but an upper cervical specific doc should be taking x-rays of the head and neck to measure how those bones are displaced so that they can properly release them. And there's a lot of different methods to do that and different ways of assessing and measuring that joint and its displacement. So I should say that so people know what upper cervical specific even is.
And then again,
and then advanced orthogonal, right? So advanced orthogonal, is different from some of the other techniques. One, in that it's an instrument adjustment. So a lot of the upper cervical specific techniques still employ hand or manual adjustments, not like what you're used to with cracking and popping. The upper cervical techniques, for the most part, are going to be just releasing that top bone in the neck versus cracking like what you'd think of with traditional chiropractic. It's much more, in my opinion, advanced, but advanced orthogonal, the type of work I do specifically, is going to be using engineering-based software to measure down to like 100th of a degree how those bones are shifted, and then from there using a sound wave mounted on the head of a table to release that joint. So it's very specific with how you open up the neck and prepare everything to release. There's no cracking or popping though, no hands.
All right. Also from @chiropractic photos, they wanted to know where you went to school for this and how you became interested in this field.
So I knew I wanted to do, there goes the phone, sorry. I knew I wanted to do upper cervical specific work before I went to chiropractic school. I had a chiropractor adjust me second year in college, and I didn't know what upper cervical was. I didn't care. My low back hurt, and the guy convinced me that my low back pain was stemming from a football injury I had. I got hurt playing high school football, and this guy adjusted my neck and my back pain went away, and then a lot of other cool things happened. I got a lot more focus in school and I wasn't so tired all the time.
We have some other question calling in.
Patients are calling. That's a good sign, right? Sorry.
We have a couple other questions that are pretty similar to what you were talking to before, so I don't know how you want to address those. But
okay.
@Cherokee Uniforms asks, is this a special type of healthcare? This is a special type of healthcare. So can you educate people on what you do? You kind of talked about that just a little bit.
What do you got?
And then Divya SW asks, can it cause burning nose sensations? Getting adjusted, I take it. Can it cause?
Can getting adjusted cause your nose to burn?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
What are
sometimes, okay, so if you can imagine, nerves are like roots coming out of a tree that go to different parts of you. Your nose is one of those parts. If for some reason you had loss of sensation, like you had numbness or tingling because those nerves were damaged or dying, and you get adjusted, you can start having sensation come back in an area if blood's getting to those nerves and those nerves are coming back to life. So potentially, but If you haven't been adjusted and your nerves are burning or dying, that's bad, so you should get your neck checked.
From @JP Allegra, she asks, how many Atlas doctors are there?
So, I don't know exactly, but I would estimate around 1,000 upper cervical doctors of different techniques and approaches in the U.S.
We got another one.
William L. Glass.
You got to let me answer that question though. And then within advanced orthogonal, there's probably like, just write the question down and their name maybe for after. But within advanced orthogonal in this approach, it's another unique thing about it. There's only 50 of us that do this kind of work. So where we're taking the digital x-rays and doing the sound wave type work. There's construction across the street. Sorry for the beeping. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, bye. Which is kind of scary. He's got a bunch of gas containers on the back of the truck.
Backing right into our office.
Yeah. So what was the other question I think you asked? There's 50 advanced orthogonal docs.
All right, @William L. Glass from Instagram right now is asking, how do you guys handle tech innovation? How do you decide when and how to adopt new tech?
So that is the other really special thing about advanced orthogonal is it is in my opinion, all of the other techniques, it is the most advanced. We are using sound wave, we are using digital x-ray, and the group that I'm a part of is a young group of docs. We are always looking for the best, newest technology and things we can do to adapt the technique to be able to get a better release on the Atlas so patients hold longer. So not to pick on any chiropractic approach, but what tends to happen is you'll have sort of a solidifying of a technique and it's frozen in time and that's a technique and it doesn't really evolve, where our group tends to be very pro moving forward and changing and adapting and getting better all the time. So we're constantly meeting, doing continuing ed. I'm on the board for the technique that I do and we're always hashing out new ways to improve it and have it be better.
That kind of leads into another question that we had from Instagram. At Work It Like You Mean It, asked if Atlas chiropractic was a specialty in the chiropractic field.
Yes, so just like in medicine, how you have orthopedic doctors, guys who work on the spine, you have foot doctors, podiatrists, you have different niches of docs that are licensed as an MD. Within chiropractic, you'll have different subspecialties, guys who go get diplomates and do different things. I would say specifically Atlas work in general is a specialty within chiropractic, and then even within that you can subdivide different techniques and approaches of adjusting the Atlas. So yes.
Okay, another from @JP Allegra was, what is a Denny roll? What are the benefits of a Denny roll?
So
You should go grab it. So you can show
yeah,
one.
cool.
Let's go grab one really quick.
We'll zoom in on Parker. Well, Parker follows his dad everywhere.
So I love Denny rolls for helping people at home restore the curve in their neck. It was designed by an Australian physio, and the idea is you're creating a shape for the neck to mold around to bring the curve back. One of the big problems is when you've had a whiplash trauma to the neck, car accident, sports, a lot of people it's even birth trauma. Please tell me I hit that button, didn't I?
You did, I just wanted to stop it so it wasn't really long.
Got it. One of the things that will happen when you have a whiplash trauma, by definition, you're damaging the ligaments that are in your column. So what keeps your neck together is the ligaments, even more than the joints. So when that happens and you damage those ligaments and you tear those, the body will tighten up the deep muscles around the spine and you'll come out of a normal curvature in the neck. You should have a nice curve in that C-spine, and you'll lose it because the neck is bracing for whatever trauma you had. So once the Atlas is aligned in the office and patients are holding that, the next progressive step that I like to employ is using a Denny roll for home rehab. So it's a specifically shaped device to help retrain the curve. Somebody will lay on it for a few minutes a night, and for the time that they're on it, and you can see it on an x-ray, you can actually take an x-ray of somebody on a Denny roll and you'll see a curve in the neck. It gives the body a chance to, if it's ready, to adapt around that shape and have a curve start to be molded in. The best comparison I can make is like braces on teeth, and you can slowly kind of retrain that spine back into a more normal curvature over time. So I like Denny rolls.
How would someone be ready for a Denny roll? What has to happen?
You need to go, whoever your chiropractor is, I would recommend obviously having the atlas adjusted and stabilized so the neck can open up naturally. Chill, buddy. But beyond that, your chiropractor will make that call. There's different parameters if you're even a good candidate for a Denny roll, but that's a good thing for your doctor to look at.
All right. We have from @TrueSpine. What was your first chiropractic adjustment like?
Okay, so that's why you were interrupting me. That was good. Thank you. So in Stuart, there's a doc who, when I hurt my neck playing football, adjusted my neck. He didn't do upper cervical specific work, but he did release my neck and I could sleep for the first time in like months. I had a football injury playing locally and severely sprained my neck. So that was my first brush with chiropractic, and it dramatically changed my life because I went from not being able to sleep and being miserable to feeling a whole lot better. But the real life-changing moment was when I was in college and the guy adjusted my atlas, a doc in the town of the school I was in, convinced me that my neck pain or my back pain was feeding from my neck and that injury I had, that it was never fully corrected. And when he adjusted my atlas, my back pain was gone, and I went from basically sleeping through classes and having fatigue and being miserable to a normal person. Like somebody took the weights off my legs and I could run free. And I also had like a flush of energy and focus, and went from basically being a C student in all my pre-med classes to crushing chemistry and being like top of the class in all my chemistry standardized tests and stuff. So, and then beyond that, that same guy, I drugged my brother in there who was born cerebral palsy, because whatever that guy did to me, it really helped. And watching him improve and stop having seizures and not having to wear glasses anymore and just having his life change really cemented this kind of work for me. So at the time I was going to be a plastic surgeon is what I thought. And so Parker didn't like that. And I decided this meant more to me because it had helped already just me and my brother. So, yeah.
All right, we have a question live from Answering Hell. And they ask, is there a specific pillow you recommend to sleep on?
Yes and no. A pillow is like this personal journey that people go on. A prerequisite to get the right pillow would be that the atlas is released. And I know I sound like a broken record with that, but if your head and neck are off and there's tension in your neck, there is no right pillow because your neck is messed up and you're always going to be uncomfortable. And a lot of you know what that feels like, and I'm preaching to the choir. Once the head and neck are released and the atlas is holding, then you want to start looking for a pillow that can help support your neck and kind of cradle the head while you sleep. In general, you don't want to have a pillow that is too flat to where the head is almost touching the bed, or too elevated to where there's jacking the neck forward. When you're on your back, another parameter would be side sleeping, which is okay too. Just stay off your stomach. Side sleeping, you don't, in the same way, you don't want to be too flat to where there's compression happening on nerve roots, or too jacked up to where there would be stress on the neck and compression on the other side. You want to be kind of at a 90 when you sleep. So the best way to achieve that are some of the orthopedic pillows. I like Core Products. Has a tri-core or mid-core pillow. It's got a hole in the middle, plateaus on the side, and then kind of a roll there because there's a hole in the middle for your neck to rest on. So it is a great solution for back and side sleeping. So I like tri-core. We have a woman locally that makes pillows. By design, what I like. But
and if you're in the Stuart area, you can come in, we can get you that number.
That's something we can do for you. But if you can't core products, try core or mid-core.
Any questions? Anybody else got questions on our feed?
Any more questions, or we can be?
It's 11:30. Questions for Parker?
Questions for Parker?
Basically, get your neck checked, find an Atlas doc that's in your area. If you are curious about this type of work, obviously follow us, but AdvancedOrthogonal.com has a doctor's directory. That's the type of work I do with the Soundwave. A similar approach is NUCCA, N-U-C-C-A. That's a very refined type of work as well. You can go to nucca.org and they have a Find a Doctor tab. And then if you guys are looking for a doc in your area and you're not sure, just shoot us a DM.
Oh, Answering Hell said that the video froze. What was the name of the pillow?
Core Products, like an Apple Core, C-O-R-E. Core Products has a tri-core pillow for your full-size, man, and then more of a mid-core for your smaller man or woman, and then they even have like a kids, like a pediatric.
Thanks for that. Okay, so.
All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, we're gonna sign off. Just follow us, and if you don't already, share us with people so we can get the word about upper cervical care out. And tag a friend if you see a cool post you like. But we're gonna be here on Thursdays to answer your questions. Shoot us any questions you guys have to the Instagram DM through the week, and we'll kind of monitor that and try to answer those for you on Thursdays around 11:30. We'll be having a live like this each time. So thank you guys for tuning in, and see you next Thursday.
Bye.